Alright guys, Epic fucking Slayers here and welcome back to a brand new Division video. Today I have for you the strongest last stand build, at least from what I've tested, if you can learn how to use it. If you do enjoy this video, then please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you are new to my channel. If you want to support me other than YouTube, then head on over to my Patreon channel where you can do that. And with that said, let's get into the build. So guys, this is the last stand build that I have been using. I've only used it once and I got that 39 kill gameplay. I've actually tested it out. I've tested different ways of using this build, but this is probably the best way that I've found so far. So 3-piece defense, 2-piece predator, and of course NINJABIKE, meaning that I get 4-piece defense, 3-piece predators, which is really strong. We'll go over the gear to start with and we'll end up on the weapons. So as you can see, the vest here I've rolled to electronics. My skill power is 145, electronics at 4848, and as you can see I've mainly gone into firearms and electronics. Really don't need that much stamina at all on this build because you are going to have a giant shield in front of your face, so really your toughness isn't that important. I would say that with this particular piece, exotic damage resilience is quite important, but I would have probably preferred skill haste here over exotic damage resilience. But apart from that, health and ammo capacity is really good. You do want some health on the major attributes because when you are, or when your shield does get taken down, you are going to want to have a little bit of survivability until the shield comes back up. That's quite important as well. So moving on to the mask again, I've got firearms and a major attribute of exotic damage resilience. I'd actually keep that. Exotic damage resilience on this build is very good. You'll find a lot of the times people will try and nade you out. They'll throw grenades behind you and stagger you, and that's when they'll kill you. Having that exotic damage resilience just really helps negate the damage that's being done to you when they throw those grenades. Burn resistance is very good as well on the mask. Moving on to the knee pads. Unfortunately, these knee pads, I would say that the major attribute, I'd prefer to have health. Critical hit damage of 7% really is minimal. I'd much prefer to have health and have that survivability when my shield is down. It is rolled into electronics. Bleed resistance, disorient resistance, and shock resistance. I'd prefer to probably roll away bleed resistance here and have burn resistance, but this is what I've been handed, so that's what I'd recommend if you are going to make a build similar to this one. Moving on to the NINJABIKE messenger bag. You probably see this in my other builds, but health and ammo capacity, it's pretty standard stuff there. You could perhaps go with skill power here and reduce that health a little bit, get that a little bit more skill power, but I don't think it's needed. That health is really important. Moving on to the gloves here, we've got SMG damage, firearms. The firearms for all, unfortunately, is a little bit low, but when you're in last stand, everything is normalized, maximized effectively. So that will be at the highest of 1272. So SMG damage, crit chance. I probably would rather not have crit chance here and probably would rather have skill haste, just to make sure that I'm getting that either my heal back, which at the moment on this build is booster shot, or my shield back as quickly as possible. So that's the only change I would perhaps make there on those gloves. And then lastly, the Predator's Mark holster. Pretty good holster. Electronics a little bit on the low side, but we have rolled skill haste on here. Now for mods, I am running firearms mods with skill haste. I think that's really important. I mean, you can do it either way. I tried both ways. I tried having firearms on my mask here. No, not on my mask, on my chest piece here. Instead of electronics, and then running electronics as mods with skill haste, but I just prefer to have it this way. No real reason, it's just my preference, and it's up to you guys what you've got. Moving on to the prototype performance mod, and this is where I wasn't sure what to run. So I tested out running the mods which gives you extra health, like the 7.5% health, and I tested out the damage resilience mods. I may actually have a few here on my character. So here we go, ballistic shield damage resilience, and we've got ballistic shield health. So I tested those out. I actually reduced my skill power a little bit, had a little bit more firearms, and put those on just to increase the health of my ballistic shield, and just to see how it went on. And what I found was that I just wasn't killing people quick enough. So unfortunately they were getting behind me, and then once they're behind me, it's really difficult to actually stop them from killing you, because obviously your toughness is so low on this build, or at least the build that I've been running. So what I actually found better was actually adding on the damage mods here that give me that extra, ballistic. Well, it says here you get 16%. I don't know how that translates into weapon damage, but it was considerable when I tested it. I actually felt like I was dropping people far quicker, especially when I'm running booster shot, because I'd pop booster, I'd have that extra damage, which is really good. You get, I think it's 15%, and you just drop people so much quicker. And obviously with the skill haste on this being at about 44%, I will just check that. I believe it is 44%. I've gone past it, but yeah, I think it's 44% on this particular build, which is pretty good. On this one, so it means I can actually get my booster shot back quite often. So yeah, that's the actual gear itself. Now moving on to the weapons, I've opted to go for the MP5 ST, and really the mag size on this makes the difference. In Last Stand, the mag size is at 70, which is really good. It's got responsive, deadly, and destructive. Of course, Unforgiven will be wasted on this. I've got a couple of SMGs with Unforgiven as the third talent, but pretty much wasted, as it's rare that your damage, your health is going to go down to the last sort of last segment to actually proc Unforgiven, or at least get the damage or the actual the boost out of Unforgiven. So you'd probably want to run responsive, deadly, and then some other talent. It's up to you. On this one, I've got destructive, which again isn't actually that good in PvP either. Probably rather have something like competent, perhaps. So you're getting your booster shot back pretty quickly. The mods wise, I've just modded for crit damage, of course, because it is best in slot in this meta. Crit damage, and of course, because I'm running an SMG, my crit chance is pretty good. 33%, so it's not too bad really on this particular one. And then secondary weapon, I am running an Orgay 3 for no particular reason. This has got deadly, hurried, and responsive, which again is very, very good. Hurried's very good on this build actually, and I'd prefer to actually have hurried on my MP5 as opposed to destructive, because it just means that what you find a lot of the time on this is when you're reloading, it takes quite a long time with this build. I don't know if it's actually increased because you're using this build. I'm not sure about that. I don't think it is, but it takes quite a long time. So if you are running something like an MP5, which has 70 in the mag, and you hit most of your shots, then the chances are your mag is going to quickly reload, and you'll be able to get straight back in the battle. So yeah, I'd much prefer that. The AUG I'm using on this one I just used because it's the next best SMG I've got with this particular build, because it's got hurried, because it's got deadly, and because it's got responsive on it. So if we just move on to my actual abilities here, so as you can see, I'm running the kinetic breaker. Of course, with 4-piece, it doesn't matter what you run, you pretty much just get the base on this one. So yeah, that's the ballistic shield, and then I am running booster shot, which as you can see, self heal wise 71,000. It's not particularly high, but to be fair, most of the time I'm not using the booster shot to actually increase my health. I'm just using it to actually give me more damage. Effectively, that's really all it's there for, to be completely honest. Regarding the actual talents here, I don't think I've changed these. I always keep the same ones. Normally triage, I normally run critical save, strike back, which again is really important, and then on the move. Strike back is actually not that important on this particular build, because when you reach low health with this build, you're probably going to die, to be honest, because you're so squishy. So really, that I probably would roll that away and probably go with something else, but maybe something like precision. I never actually thought of that. So scrap, strike back, put on precision, not that one, put on precision. I think that's probably more important. That gives you that pulse when you're hitting people in the head, which you will find with an SMG in this build, you can hit headshots pretty easily. So yeah, there you go, guys. Well, that's the build, really. I mean, it's very, very good in Last Stand. As I said, the first try of it, I think I got 39 kills, 40,000 plus score. It's a very, very good build. Is it as strong as, for example, the Hexo build? It can be if it's used in the right way. Definitely can be if you can use it, and it takes a bit of practice in getting used to the shield, when to deploy it, how to best use it. What I find is if someone's right in your face, then you need to back off, because they'll just run around you and kill you. You need to have some form of distance, 10 meters or so, probably less than 10 meters to proc responsive, but if they're right in your face, then the chances are, I know for me, if someone was in my face with a shield, I try and run around them, maybe throw a shock grenade, whatever the case may be, but I try and get around them. So you want to kind of keep your distance a little bit, but not so much so that you don't proc, your responsive talent. But that said, responsive isn't that important on this build, because you're doing so much damage when you actually get your ballistic shield out, you pop booster, and then you've got those mods on your character there, giving that 16%. You do a lot of damage quickly. With this particular build, I was hitting sort of 25, 26k with this MP5, which is really good, and I was hitting it often, which is, you're melting people at that point. So this is the best build in my opinion for me. I've tested loads of these versions of this, where I've changed the electronics, the firepower, toughness, whatever the case may be. This is the best version of this build that I've found. So hope you did enjoy this one. If you did, drop a like, as I said at the beginning of the video. If you haven't joined me on Patreon, then you can certainly do that. Check out the link in the description. Subscribe if you haven't already, and enjoy my content. Until next time, peace.
agents just grabbed the lead.
Behind us.